The Kelowna RCMP have a new detachment head. It's Superintendent Kara Triance. And today, she not only sat down to answer our questions, but did interviews with every media outlet interested to introduce herself to the community.
I believe we can't do our job as police officers without a really important relationship with our community. Part of that relationship with our community is communicating with you about the work that we're doing and how we're doing it. I also believe as a police officer, I've got small town policing experience, but also larger city policing experience. And in those different communities, I've learned a little bit more every time I move and take on a new position. But I would argue that in the small towns, I really learn more about that relational piece of policing and how important that is. As a woman in a position of leadership, I hope that I'm giving the ability for young women to see what their possibilities are, and women in law enforcement to know that there is a place for them at the table when it comes to decision making and leadership positions of command.
There's probably still a few good old boys around. Is there still work to be done?
Of course, in every institution there is work to be done.
It's going to be, some people are going to dismiss it as saying, oh, you know, it was time to give it to a female, you know, affirmative action, and your real value could be dismissed by someone with that line of thinking. Do you sense that's floating around?
Absolutely, there will be individuals in 20 years of policing. I wouldn't be speaking truth right now if I was to say to you that there are individuals that don't believe that I got here because of my skills and competence. But I can tell you I will work tirelessly to show them that this detachment will be led by a skilled police officer who is passionate about policing and policing well.
Okay, so you come to the Kelowna detachment at a time when there has been some negative headlines. There were too many sexual assault cases that were being dismissed as unfounded. Now we've seen some of those are getting another look. There was this notorious mental health check that we then saw video of a woman being dragged on her face. That there's been some other lawsuits against the RCMP member involved in that one and some others. It does seem like there's been this piling up of negativity associated with this detachment, and then here you are. What's your approach given that recent history?
I've walked in when we've had to have a look at how we investigate sexual assault and how we respond to these types of crimes. Part of what we were facing was the categorization of those files and how they were reported on. So changing that, making sure that we review those for process, for policy. But then also we've looked even further into that, into the quality assurance of those investigations and making sure that all of those recommendations that were provided to us were done correctly. We have 4 investigators that are assigned to this team now. That is part of what has been created.
So this is new?
This is new. Superintendent Mundell brought forward a team of 4 investigators that primarily focus on and solely focus on sexual assault. I've had the privilege in the last 5 days of touring this police station and meeting some of my 200 employees, almost all of my 200 employees. And in that time, I have met incredibly passionate, competent, hardworking police officers who are proud of the work that they do. And I'm really looking forward to working with these police officers as we go forward to lead a team of excellence in policing.
Do you come into the job thinking that, knowing that there's things that you definitely want to change about how things are run here?
I can tell you that one of the areas that I absolutely want to focus on is our downtown core, our police visibility, our partnerships, and how we, as police officers, ensure that community members and citizens feel safe downtown, making sure that we are really meaningfully demonstrating police visibility in our streets of Kelowna, and that community members can feel safe seeing police officers on the street. And when we have the resources to do that, we can absolutely turn out and demonstrate that.
All right. I just want to thank you so much for giving me a chance to just ask you anything. I think that it really sets a nice tone for your tenure. And you suggested before the interview that we'll likely be able to interview you again when issues arise. You're not going to just hide up in that office?
I certainly hope not. That is not my intentions as your police leader. I want to get out there in the community and that we can have these really important conversations. And I hope that we can continue to have a really collaborative approach to communication as we move forward.
Terrific. Thanks again.
Thank you.